We are live a day early with Album of the Year 1970. Ready to kick off the 1970s, going over our favorite albums, top three, and just picking our favorite ones. So, Nick, you ready to dive into 1970?
Yes.
All right, 1970 is a really great year for music. Honestly, anything from 65, any of these years we're doing are a really good year for music. I mean, some are obviously better than others. I know 1974 isn't particularly a great year for music, but still, like lots of great albums coming out these years, especially 1970 to 1973. I'm really excited about doing because there's so many great albums coming out in those years.
Wow. Yeah. I'm just thinking about a bunch of albums and I'm remembering some, and I'm like, wow, like this is have to go there, and but
Honestly, for me, like the whole 70s, I'm excited about going through because every year in the 70s has at least one album that I'm like, this is really good. So,
yeah,
kicking things off with 1970, which is, you can either say was the end of the 60s or the beginning of the 70s. It's kind of both.
yeah, end of an era, but the beginning of a new one. I'd say,
hmm
as you say.
All right, so let's get going with album number three.
My number three spot is going to be. I'm kind of thinking this on the spot, but All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. This album is just amazing in every way. Most of these tracks are made of songs that were rejected when he was with the Beatles. I mean, My Sweet Lord, Wah Wah, which is arguably the best song he made. Isn't It a Pity, which
Two
I think is
versions
the
of it.
best written song. That song is just brilliant. Uh, I feel like, to be honest, I think that song alone, writtenly, is better than anything John Lennon or Paul McCartney could write. Uh, Bob Dylan track, If Not For You, was really good. Behind That Locked Doors, amazing. Uh, Let It Down is pretty awesome. Waiting for Your All is really good. Title track is amazing. Really nice
Mm.
song. Just side the first two discs are really good. The third disc kind of loses me at the end, but
It's more like a bonus disc of them
yeah,
just jamming
that's a good
around.
way of putting it. It's a good bonus disc if you want to if you want to hear George Harrison and Eric Clapton jam out. It's a
That's
nice disc to listen to. But
that's why it says Apple Jams on the disc
yeah, that's a good way to put it actually.
because it's
And
like a
yeah,
bonus to the album.
yeah. If you want to hear people jam out, Apple Jam, that's a good album. That's a good disc to listen to.
Plus, it's Johnny's birthday.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Supposed to be about John Lennon's birthday. Very goofy, very fun. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's my number three spot. All Things Must Pass.
All right, cool. That is a very good record. I don't think it's gonna make my top three though. I forgot about it. I need to buy that because it's definitely one of my favorite solo Beatles albums. What is that? Oh, all right. My number three is my favorite song of all time's album, "Bridge Over Troubled Water." This is my favorite Simon and Garfunkel album. Title track is my favorite song of all time. Go check out my Simon and Garfunkel ranking video if you want to hear more about this title track because like I have a really great story behind it, why I like it. But that's not the only good song on this album. There's lots of other great stuff on here too. El Condor Pasa is great. Cecilia, that one's really good. Keep the Customer Satisfied is amazing. I really like that one. I like the horns on that. So Long Frank Lloyd Wright, really great. The Boxer, absolutely fantastic. What's that?
No, I'm just
Oh,
advertising the video.
advertising the video. Hey, it's Briar.
Bar CD Showcase. I mean, music
Oh,
showcase.
he's working. That's okay, Briar. We're doing this early because I got something I need to be doing tomorrow morning. Anyway, the Boxer, absolutely fantastic. Baby Driver, great. Only Living Boy in New York, great. Why Don't You Write Me? I mean, that one's good. Not my favorite, but still really great. Um, Bye Bye Love, that's a live Everly Brothers cover song. Kind of weird that they chose to do a cover song on this and a live recording, but still pretty good. And then Song for the Asking, also really good. So, number 3 is Bridge Over Troubled Water by the amazing duo of Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel.
My number 2 spot is going to be Moving Fingers by the Hollies. You know what? I'm just going to pull it that one out. Get it?
Moving Fingers.
This album is just amazing overall. This is a U.S. version of a U.K. album they made, which was named after one of the songs on here, "Confessions of the Mind." "Survival of the Fittest," really amazing song to open up an album. I'm glad they kept it as the opener on the U.S. version. "Confessions of the Mind," really great song to follow it. "Lady Please," really nice. "Little Girl," really nice song. "Too Young to Be Married," another great song. And "Man Without a Heart" is just an amazing way to close out a side. "Isn't It Nice" is really nice. "Fine Lady" is also really good. "Marigold Gloria Swan Song," one of the one song from Holly Sink Holly's album that they took over to this album. It works better on this album than it does on that album. "Perfect Lady Housewife" is alright, and "Gasoline Alley Bread" is amazing. I'm glad they got it on this album too. Yeah, that's my number 2 spot.
Cool. My number 2 spot, Elton John's self-titled record from 1970. This was his debut in the U.S., second album in the U.K. It very well should be his debut. The first album's kind of more like embryonic Elton. This really is where Elton John found his sound. I'm gonna have to open up the album if I want to see the track listing. It's okay, I know it. Starts off very strongly with "Your Song," like one of the greatest songs ever. Absolutely beautiful. "I Need You to Turn To," also really amazing. "Take Me to the Pilot" is this great rocking song with really great piano on it. It just kind of like boom, 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 and then Elton John just kind of comes in real strong. "If you feel that it's real, I'm on trial, and I'm a head in your prison."
That song's amazing.
It's really great. And then you get kind of a Rolling Stones tribute with "There's No Shoestrings on Louise." Then you get this absolutely amazing song, the first episode at Hyanton, which is like absolutely haunting with the theremin in the background, and Bernie's lyrics just flow like poetry. And then Gus Dudgeon was the producer. Paul Buckmaster, he's the guy who did the strings. This has this amazing string arrangement. And then when you flip the disc over 60 years on, just kind of continuing that. "Border Song" is absolutely amazing, kind of more of a gospel feel to it. And then you get "The Greatest Discovery," which is a song about a kid discovering his new baby brother. And "The Cage" is a really good rocking song. And then you have this really underrated song, "The King Must Die." That's absolutely amazing. I love that one. So, Elton John, 1970.
Yeah, that album is just incredible. I definitely see why it's your second favorite Elton John album. It's just one of those albums that it's just a masterpiece, front to back.
It
Really.
is, and I really want this to be the number 1 album of 1970, but unfortunately there's one better, if you can believe that. So,
Yeah, I have like 2 albums that could be number 1. I'm thinking it right now, and I'm like,
and one of
jeez.
them's got to go to honorable mention, or
Yeah.
it's honorable mention time.
"Let It Be" by the Beatles is one of them. That album definitely isn't top rank worthy, let alone top 3. What's another one? "Deja Vu" by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. That's another great album that came out that year. Not as good as "Moving Fingers," but still good effort nonetheless. What's another? Led Zeppelin 3. That's another great album.
I need to listen to that.
That's a great album.
I've never heard that, if you can believe it, other than the Immigrant Song.
Yeah. What's another great album? I'm still thinking about.
Am I going to have more honorable mentions?
I think you are. I think you are.
Well,
Uh,
you're more into the 60s and I'm more into the 70s, so it
Adam
makes
Heart Mother by Pink Floyd. That's another album I'm thinking of. Um, wow. Jeez. I wish I could. There's a bunch of albums I'm thinking of, but they're not coming to mind. I'm looking. Paranoid by Black Sabbath. That's another great album. Live at Leeds by The Who.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that did come out in 1970, didn't it?
Side Seal Delivered by Stevie Wonder. And I can't believe I'm going to put this as an honorable mention. Cosmos Factory by CCR. That's an honorable mention. And
Uh,
lastly, Pension by Pendulum by CCR.
cool. All right, my honorable mentions: All Things Must Pass, George Harrison; Moondance by Van Morrison; um, Chicago's second album, really great. I love that one. Let It Be by the Beatles; McCartney's first solo record, Sunflower by the Beach Boys; Pendulum by Creedence Clearwater Revival; and Tumbleweed Connection by Elton John.
Hmm.
All right. The big reveal. What is the number one album of 1970?
Sunflower by the Beach Boys. And
Ah,
that album is just the first time I ever heard that album is I bought it at the record store and I listened to it. The record dropped and Slip On Through came on and right away I knew this album was gonna be amazing. This Whole World, great vocal performance by what's his name? I can't think.
Bruce Johnston?
No, not Bruce Johnson.
Carl
Carl
Wilson?
Wilson. Great performance by him. Add some music to your day. Great group effort, I'd say. Got to Know Your Woman's really good. Deirdre, that's the Bruce
It's a good
Johnson
one.
song. It's About Time, another great Carl Wilson performance. Cheers in the Morning, another great performance by Bruce Johnson. All I Want to Do, great vocals by Mike Love. Normally he's one of the weaker members when it comes to vocally, but he does really good on this song. Forever, one of Dennis Wilson's best songs he ever wrote and sung. Our Sweet Love, really good. At My Window and Cool Cool Water, really great way to end off the album. Before I get into it, I was watching a live stream with Beach Boy fans, and this one girl was like, "Everything the Beach Boys made is great, nothing bad." I'm like,
Who
"Summer in
was
Paradise,
this? Have you
Summer in
listened to
Paradise,
Summer in Paradise?
Summer in
Have you
Paradise is
listened to have you
Andrew
listened
is
to
bad."
what's that one? The MIU album.
Yeah, and she was like, "No, that's a really good album."
Have you listened to it?
I'm like, and I'm like, "Oh no!" I'm like, I can't stay on this stream anymore. I can't. I can't be on
Everybody in the
like
world and in the nation gathered all together for some excitation. Oh, we lost our one viewer. Oh man, so they're not even going to get to see what my number one choice is.
no,
Well,
they're
too bad.
lost.
Okay, all you people on the replay, here's my number one album of 1970. Looking out my back door. Cosmos Factory by Creedence Clearwater Revival. I was so upset whenever I couldn't put a Creedence album in my top 3 for 1969 because there are so many good Creedence albums in 1969, but there was just like 3 better albums, and I was like, no, I can't put Willie and the Poor Boys, I can't put Green River, but now it's time for Creedence to get their due. The best Creedence album and my favorite album of 1970, Cosmos Factory. This thing is amazing, starting off extremely strong with Ramble Tamble, 7 minutes of epicness. Before You Accuse Me as a cover song, that one's okay. It's
Oh,
probably one of
giggity.
my least favorite ones on here, but Traveling Band, another John Fogerty original, absolutely incredible. Ooby Dooby, Roy Orbison cover, better than Before You Accuse Me. Still not the best on the album, but still, I actually like Ooby Dooby. Guilty pleasure. Looking Out My Back Door, my favorite song on the album. It's amazing. Run Through the Jungle, really cool, especially with like those creepy jungle backwards guitars at the beginning. I really like that, and the main riff is cool. Up Around the Bend, another amazing song. My Baby Left Me, probably my second to least favorite on the album after Before You Accuse Me, but it's still it's got that acoustic bass at the beginning that's really cool. So I still like it. Who'll Stop the Rain? Another amazing song. You get 11 minutes of I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which
No, it's I heard it through the
I hoid it.
grapevine.
I hoid it through the grapevine.
I
I
heard.
hoid it through the grapevine. And not much longer would you be mine.
I
Well, I hoid it through the grapevine. And
used
I
to do the thing with the Steely.
about
You
to
know,
lose my
you made a
mind.
video with the day with the
Hoid.
500 days of listening to Steely Dan. You should be like that with CCR with at day 500. You'd be like, I hoid it through the grapevine.
I hoid that there was some CCR going on here. Anyway, it is it a little bit long? Yes, it is a little bit long.
Goes on forever.
It goes on seemingly forever. Nick, are you the one viewer?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh well. Anyway, it seems like it goes on forever, but like if they would have shortened it a bit, I would like it a bit more. Like there's a single edit that I think is like maybe a little bit more than the single edit, but not as much as the album edit. Would be like
Yeah.
the perfect length for this song. And I like some long songs like 2112 by Rush, Shine on You Crazy Diamond by Pink Floyd. Some songs that are long merit being that long. This is just them jamming for 11 minutes and doing kind of the same thing. So
Yeah.
put it right about the 6.5 minute mark, and that's the perfect length. But 11, a little too long. And then you get Long as I Can See the Light, which is another absolutely amazing song.
That's the best
So-
song on the album, in my opinion.
Cosmo's Factory, number 1. All right. Well, that is it for this Album of the Year video. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the top 10 songs of the Rolling Stones, which I still need to
Yes.
make my list.
Bye.
So I'll be getting to that right afterwards. See you guys later.
Looking at my back door.